Christopher!
Hello, Emil.
A very good afternoon, my friends.
It must be Friday, and Friday is catch-up time.
Ketchup time!
That is such a good time
Hello.
every week. How are you doing, Emil?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. And Susan really have some great developments around selling training in the form of the vouchers, like I told all you guys earlier on. And we had the Partner Summit. So everybody, if you haven't looked at the Partner Summit, it was last Wednesday, and we'll have part 2 of 2 this Wednesday. So you can still subscribe for the second part of the Partner Summit. And then we will all
new partner model, kind of a whole new partner program and levels and stuff you can do. That's kind of cool.
Yep. So you can be a silver, a golden, or platinum partner again. We are rolling out that whole system, and we have different types of partnership, and of course the train partnership. If anybody likes to know anything about the train partnership, it's me, or actually in USA, my colleague and friend Scott Stewart. But that's the business, the corporates. Skip that. We're talking about open source as usual.
Oh yes.
So
I can tell you an open source story to the beginning, because what we do have here in Germany is we always have really nice kind of summer to autumn transition. And it's really great, because the last weeks, as I told you, it was too hot for me to go out biking. And so one of the things I did is I had beautiful, perfect biking weather, so I just did some urban town biking. And I found something that was really open source, and that was guys started building an awesome trail in the woods, and that's kind of also community in open source, because those guys spent their free time building something, but it's there for everyone. They left all the tools there. So if you, want to work on it yourself, make it better, change it, then you can go forward. And I think that's also a cool real life example of what open source can be and how communities can come together.
Oh, wow. What a nice life experience of open source.
Yes, sir.
I like that. Hey, we had 2 articles that we've shared with each other this week. You shared something called the evolution of trust. And as prepared as I am, I have no idea what it is. So please explain me and both of our people in the audience what the evolution of trust is.
Yes, so first of all, big props to Nikki Case, who made this. I don't know him personally, but generally, hello, greetings. This is a really great thing you made. Long story short, you'll take about, if you want to see it, we'll put the link in the bottom. You can try this out yourself. You'll take about 35 minutes to get through the whole application or through the whole game. But to make a long story short, it all starts with the story that in the First World War, when it came to Christmas time, the soldiers on both sides of the war in the trenches agreed to not fight anymore and went out of their trenches and started celebrating Christmas together, which is really crazy when you think about it. It's guys with guns laying in trenches, and they say, well, no, I don't care which side I'm on. I'm going to start celebrating Christmas together with the enemy. And I'm figuring, coming from that, part of that happening and that being successful and not a bloodbath was trust. Imagine you're a guy in those trenches and you're figuring, do I trust the other guy? Do I leave my gun here and go out there and try and celebrate with them, because we're all humans, kind of, we are all actually on the same side? Or will I get a bullet to my head because the other guys actually just try to roast me and try to make fun of me, and what will happen? And this whole game is kind of based on that, because you're just showing kind of the first page, the first decision you make. So basically what happens in the game is you can choose to either cheat or cooperate and put a coin in a machine.
I'm always cooperating.
Yeah, see? And depending on which option you choose and which option your opponent choose, you'll either make points or you'll lose points. Okay. And what happens while you're playing this game is that you don't only have one opponent, but they introduce different kinds of opponents. So one guy that always cooperates, one guy that is a copycat and does whatever you do, another guy that always cheats, and la-di-da-di-da. And you know, you can play loads of different rounds with these different characters. But just what I took from it in the shortage of time that we have with the Ketchup is basically a very, very fundamental thing in our society and communities is trust. We've talked about this, Emil, when you were saying to Carsten the other week, you know, choose your Linux distribution by the community that makes it and that's around it. And a big part of that is also trust. But the thing that's even more interesting is, although you can establish trust, that will be heavily dependent on the system, could be the economy, the society, whatever you're living in. So there's a lot of external factors that have a lot of implications and a lot of stuff that happens with the trust. So generally, I don't want to take too much away here. You know, I want people to play this game. You can check the game out and leave us comments or feedback or whatever. But it's really, really interesting to see, and that's why it's called the evolution of trust, how trust can get established, how different characters can have an influence on trust, and how especially in a later scenario, when you have more of the same kind of the different characters, that kind of creates the environment you're in and heavily influences what will happen on the level of which character wins the most money or not, depending on the trust that is given or not. So that's just a really, really cool experiment, and I thought I might send that to you, and it fits the context so beautifully of the Friday Catch-Up, because we do talk about communities, and we do talk about the human component in all the tech stuff we do. And, you know, we're always trying to, or I am, always trying to figure out, you know, who are the good companies and the evil ones, and you know me and my kind of opinion about corporations and stuff going on. But also for me, it's, you know, a big fundamental part of success and of enjoying life will always be trust.
All right, wow. Interesting. I will definitely take some time somewhere this weekend, I hope, besides playing tennis. Yeah, league tennis starts again tomorrow, so I'm really happy for it. And tonight playing some poker with the cameraman, so that's the weekend. But I'll try to squeeze in this quiz as well. Sounds really interesting. I shared a Dutch article from Computable with you, and I've been so lazy again. Just share it with you. Although it's in Dutch, I didn't read it. I only read the first few lines, and I scrolled over it, but no more than that. So lazy again. Chris, the Fossa 2 project. What is it?
I used Google Translate to translate the Dutch, and basically what came out was tulip, flower, windmill, cheese, tulip, Amsterdam. I don't know what that. No. Jokes aside, it was a very interesting article, Emil, because it was about the Fossa 2 project, which was a European project. And basically, the project was about evaluating, re-evaluating, and making open source solutions that the state offers or governments offer in Europe better. Because we have had, and that was kind of also part of the article, we've had issues in say, Linux and open source. Issues like Heartbleed, Meltdown, Spectre, you know, it didn't matter which version you're running of which Linux, it was in all of them. And coming from that, you know, the EU government at that point said like, hey, let's evaluate, let's see, you know, just because we implemented tools a couple of years ago and said, oh, it's open source is great. There might still be a lot of potential we can use coming from open source to make these solutions better and more secure. And what the article said was that the project to do that was called Fossa 2, and it's over now. So they've redefined and defined the open source projects and software that they want to use in the future and how they can best contribute to it. So probably it will be even more interesting to wait what happens now after they've done their kind of evaluation phase, and which bigger scale open source projects will be seen on a European level. So
Alright.
let's see what happens there. But that was a pretty open sourcey thing, because I know a lot of initiatives in Germany or also public and government initiatives. But it's great to see that we also do that on a European level, because that ties back into everything I've been saying. Communities and trusting each other and, helping each other and supporting each other to reach the maximum and the best, instead of standing against each other, closing people out and being uninclusive.
Wow. Okay. We can go to the open source church again.
Well, that's how we roll here at the Friday Ketchup.
That's right.
What's your opinion on that, Emil? Using open source software on a larger scale across a whole kind of community of countries.
That's a good question, my friend. I think it's very important that open source software is used all over the world. So for European Union projects and global projects, it's a very good thing that they test elements in essential essential software. It happens to be open source, like OpenSSL and these kind of things, for vulnerabilities. Like they should test it with proprietary software as well. It doesn't matter if it's proprietary or open. If such a important projects within the European Union are using those kind of tools, it should be checked for vulnerabilities. So
that's actually it's something really, really interesting you just said, because they should do the same with closed source proprietary software, but probably they can't, because it's closed. There's only a certain amount of testing changing you will be able to do, and that kind of feeds back to the benefit of open source and open software.
Yeah, that's right. That's actually a nice takeaway from this. So hey, I think it's time to close the Ketchup.
It feels awesome because we have another episode recorded and in the box.
Yeah.
And it's always so sad because you have to wait a whole another week till we do this again.
Ah, you sweetie. Yeah, that's right. But another week full of surprises and open source news passing by, and the Partner Summit. Did I mention Partner Summit?
To our fans, Emil.
Both of them.
The first time, we get either 100 likes or 500 views on a Friday Ketchup.
Yeah.
We'll have a Monday Ketchup special edition that we record in that week.
Okay. Is that a threat or a teaser? Okay. Hey, thanks world. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all those things. See you next week. Bye bye.